So I was asked the other day, if there was a clone line that I could create, what fragrances would I clone? So you guys know that I don't really have a hatred towards clones. I don't really care if I get clones, to be honest with you. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But today, I wanted to go through and kind of spread off of that and jump off and say, if I could create my own 10 clones in a clone line, what would they be clones of? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Hope that that's interesting to you. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud. If you guys aren't already, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, hit the like button if you are already subscribed. Make sure to put that onto the algorithm, help out your boy. And then also comment below what's some of the clones that you wish you had. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a peek into my feelings on clones real quick. If you don't already know, then here you go. So, when it comes to clones, I'm not against them. I honestly don't care if I own them or not, for the most part. So, I only pick up clones whenever enough of you guys are like, you got to pick this up, you got to get this, you got to get this. Or if I'm like severely interested in that fragrance, and it's like too much money to actually spend on a fragrance. For instance, like Louis Vuittons or Rojas or something like that, Creeds. I understand picking up fragrance clones for that. I understand that. But I have a shelf behind me that holds about 350 fragrances. I don't want to go over that. And so anytime that I get above 300, I like to sell down a little bit. And so I don't want to stock my shelf with cheapies and clones if I can't avoid it. Even as a fragrance reviewer, there's some limits that I put on myself. And so as far as clones, again, I'll pick them up if you guys want me to. But my viewpoint on clones is that I only really care to try. I don't care to try clones of designers. I honestly don't give a crap because most designers are around $100 or so. And so I honestly don't care about a clone of that, to be honest with you, because most designers, that's retail price. You can get most of them outside of Chanel's for like $80 or less. Some of them even less than that. With that said, so I like clones of high-end niche. Anything like 200 or over is fine if I can get a clone of that. Maybe like 250 to 300 is more the mark I'm looking for because I can get a very easy decant for anything 200 to 250 for like 10 bucks. Anyway, so I like that or discontinued fragrances. That's what I really look for. So today I wanted to go through again. One of my moderators said that I should do a video like this. If I could create a clone line, what fragrances would I clone? So I decided to pick 10 fragrances. They were really hard. So there are a lot of fragrances that I would go back and I would clone. But there are going to be a lot of designers here, but mostly discontinued designers. Again, I want to bring that back. I love designer fragrances. I always have. I started my channel based on designer fragrances. Yes, there will be a few niche in here, obviously. But again, going more high end. I haven't got into a lot of niche yet, but if I had to choose one that I forgot to put on this list, just thinking right now, MFK's Oud Satin Mood. I haven't tried that yet, but I would like to try that, and that would be really cool if they had a decant of a clone of that. Also, it's very easy to say I could get a clone of YSL Baby Cat. I could do a clone of YSL Tuxedo. Because, I mean, if you can get a perfect clone, and I'm talking about perfect clones, like if I could do a clone line and they were perfect clones, Baby Cat, Tuxedo, stuff like that, those are obvious. But the ones I chose are here. The first one, by Gucci, one of the only Guccis that I actually adore and always have, is Gucci Envy. Gucci Envy is just a fragrance that it's almost one of the best fragrances that was ever released. It's a little bit more masculine, and usually I'm not the kind of person to go with those really heavy masculine fragrances. I've just never been like that kind of like lumberjack style, but Gucci Envy does a very nice blend, and it's one that I would love to see brought back. And so if they can't bring it back like a normal company, then I would like to see it brought back as a clone, like a perfect clone. The second one on my list, so it's 1 Million Prive by Paco Rabanne. I would like to see a clone of that, even though there is one out there. I heard it's not very good, or that it's not close to 1 Million Prive, so I would like to see a clone of that. That's obviously going to be kind of like your apple cider minus the apple with resins and woods. Very, very good fragrance. I have it somewhere. I honestly don't know. Where is it? Right here. 1 Million Prive. Very good fragrance. But if I could make a clone of that for people and it was a perfect clone, then I would definitely do that. 1 Million Prive. I actually just thought of one that wasn't on my list, so I will also add that in as just a aforementioned one. One by Tom Ford. It's called Plum Japonais. Plum Japonais, I should have probably had that on this list. Wasn't even thinking, but Plum Japonais is my favorite Tom Ford of all time. Always will be, and I just ran out of my last few drops of it, so I'm completely gone of Plum Japonais. And the only time you're going to find it now is like $600-700 at the minimum, probably on eBay. And it is what it is. I mean, it's plum, spices, wood, stuff like that. It's a freaking-tastic fragrance. It's just like the mix of all their best fragrances with plum. That's the way I look at it. It's fall and winter, but you could also wear it in a little bit of spring. If I could do that, that'd be great. Anyway, going back to my list. The next one is a clone of this. I honestly wish that the house would just bring this back, or like at least another special edition that's the same as this, so that I could like just buy more bottles of it. But it's Boss Bottled Intense Eau de Parfum. It is the best Boss Bottled. It is one of my wife's favorite fragrances, and honestly, I just need to have this in my life, and I need to have more than what I already have. I have that small one, and then I have another bottle in my closet that's not opened. But with that said, I'm talking about for you guys, and I will run out of that at some point in time. But if I could clone that, somebody even asked me the other day, what are some similar fragrances to it? There are similar fragrances, but nothing that I would say is even like 50 or 60% close to Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense. So I would love to clone that. That would be a great one to put on my list. The next one, I've seen a few of these, but obviously I'm going to have a creed on my list. And for me, the creed that I would like to clone is my favorite creed, which is Creed's Aventus Cologne. You could also do Creed's Melissa May Imperial, but honestly, that was already perfected, really, by Armani. I love the milestones, so I wouldn't even really need to do that. But Aventus Cologne, I want to have like a perfected clone of that, which I know that there's Insurrection to Sport or whatever. I didn't find that too close enough. And then I could also do Creed Royal Oud, or, I mean, it might be Royal Oud, or I heard that that Woods and Spice, or Creed Spice and Woods, or whatever it was. One of my moderators, it's one of his favorite fragrances. I want to try that, but that might be something to clone. But anyway, it would be a Creed. It's just whether I would do Aventus Cologne, Royal Oud, or Spice and Woods. I'm not sure. I would have to try out Spice and Woods first to know if it would be that or not. Anyway, going into the next one. The next one is Oligarch Eau de Parfum. So they remade that because the name and the Russian-Ukraine war and stuff like that. And now Roja's Oligarch Eau de Parfum is now Isola Blue. I tried Oligarch Eau de Parfum once a long time ago, and I don't remember what it smells like. But I did try, and I do have a decan of Isola Blue over there. And if Oligarch, from what I hear, is just a slight bit better than the Isola Blue, I couldn't even imagine it being better than Isola Blue, because I love Isola Blue, but if I could clone that, I would totally do that. And yes, you guys don't need to tell me. If there are clones of these out there, I'm not talking about that. I want a perfect, 100% perfect clone if I could do it. That's what I would be doing. Anyway, that would be Roja's Oligarch Eau de Parfum. I would definitely clone that. I guess Isola Blue in that case, since I haven't really smelled it and can't really talk about it. Anyway, going into I've already told you like 10 by itself, but a lot of those were runners up. Anyway, going into the next one. The next one is $400, and this is mostly because I haven't tried it. And I just heard so many good things about it. Mugler Amen Ultra Zest. This is another one that could come along with an entire line by itself. You could clone Pure Havane, but you don't really need to do that because there's too many things out there that smell like it. I want to Pure Tonka, Pure Coffee. I would clone all them. Clone them or bring them back, man. But I would choose Ultra Zest because it's $400, and I would clone that just so people who haven't experienced it can experience it, just so they can. I mean, the beautiful orange bottle, obviously, I'd probably, instead of making it a star, I'd make it like a star, but with an extra point. That's the way clone companies do it, right? Anyway, going into the next one. I know there's clones of this. I have one that's almost perfect, but it's a rollerball. But I want to make a clone because it would be in my list. And there's two from this line that I have here. Both of them Louis Vuittons. I will not spend $300 for a fragrance. I just won't. Anyway, this one is Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton. It is that very simplistic citrus and musk. Really nice on that like orangish style fragrance. Very high quality. I would like to clone it. Just that would be in my line. I think that would be amazing. Anyway, the second one is Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. It has this kind of like peach apricot style mixture with a little bit of an effervescent feel, some musk, also simplistic, very new release. I would like to clone that to have the two freshies in my collection, clones of Louis Vuittons, and then we also obviously have the possible Aventus cologne. So, and the Oligarch. So we actually have a few freshies on here. The next one, and number 8, so we only have 2 left. These are going to be the 2 oldies. So I could easily say Nautica Competition, the one that comes in the blue bottle. That was my childhood fragrance, and I still have a bottle that's in a really, it's almost broken sealed, but they go for like $900 now, which is crazy. But the blue bottle, it was only out for a year and a half, and then they discontinued it, and they repackaged it into a yellow bottle, which was trash. I could put that on this list, but I didn't, because not a lot of people have smelled the blue bottle to even say, yeah, I would like that. But anyway, the next one is Armani Mania. There was a fragrance that whenever I was a kid, they came out with Acqua di Gio, then they came out with Armani Mania, and then Armani Code came out, and Armani Mania went kaput. Armani Mania was, to me, the best Armani that came out in that line. I think it's better than all the Acqua di Gios. I think it's better than all the Codes. I always wish that they would have taken Mania and made a line off Mania, because that would have been fire. It was like ahead of its time. It had some sweetness in it. It was like an aromatic sweetness, almost like Ralph's Club. I mean, it was amazing. I would love to clone that, bring it back, just so I can remember it and just get that vintagey vibe. Even though it wasn't vintage, it was just get that reminder of my high school days, middle school days. And the last one. This one, they brought back, and it sucks now. But I'm talking about the little blue and green bottle from the early 2000s, late 1990s, Candies. I would like to clone the original Candies and bring that back just because. Candies was an amazing fragrance. I don't care who you are or what you say. It was kind of like a masculine fruity fragrance, and it was fantastic. Again, another one, that and Armani Mania, both ahead of their time with the type of fragrances they were putting out. And they just both went kaput, and Candies came back in a new crappy bottle that you can find at Macy's Backstage for $10 that smells nothing like the original Candies. So I would bring that back. So if I had a clone line, that's what I would be cloning. So Gucci Envy, 1 Million Prive, Boss Bottled Intense, Creed Aventus, or one of the 3 Creeds. Oligarch, Eau de Parfum, Mugler, Amen, Ultra Zest, or Tonka, or Pure Coffee, or whatever you want to do. Afternoon Swim, Pacific Chill, Armani Mania, Candies, and then obviously the ones I mentioned in the opening, and then Plum Japonais by Tom Ford. Those ones I would definitely clone. That would be my clone line. Would you buy my clone line? Would you buy a bunch of my clones if I made them and they were 100% perfect? Because I know I would. That's just, it's my clone line. I would love it. That's what, like, all I would wear is all of that, because it would be perfect. That would be the perfect clones. Anyway, let me know some of the fragrances that you would love to clone. I mean, I could do Givenchy Play. That would be a good one. I could go back and do a bunch of other fragrances. YSL M7, not the Oud Absolu, the original M7. That one was actually quite nice when it first released. There's a lot of good ones out there. Even the original batch of the original Hugo Boss bottled that lasted like 8 to 9 hours, that would be sick too. But yeah, even Spice Bomb Fresh, bring that one back. I could go for days. Just give me any discontinued designer fragrance that I was in love with at one point in time and bring it back. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, maybe I'll do another one some other time. Let me know if you'd like me to do another 10 clones if I can think of them. So thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.